Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter from ExtremePrepper.com, and today I will be here reviewing the American Bresse chicken from Greenfire Farms. First of all, the question you might ask is, why try the American Bresse chicken? Well, the American Bresse is a made chicken that came from France, and it's an heirloom type chicken, and it's very, very famous in France. In fact, it's viewed as the chicken of royalty. The kings and queens of Europe crave the French Bresse chicken. Some of those Bresse chickens were brought to America recently, and now you can get this exotic breed of chicken in the United States. Now, traditionally on our homestead, we had always raised these red star chickens, and we'd raised them for egg production. And so the American Bresse is our first attempt at a meat chicken. And we figured, well, if we're going to grow a meat chicken, why not grow the chicken of royalty? And so we really wanted to try them. It's a very good dual-purpose bird, okay? And one of the things that we wanted to avoid in raising meat chickens are these Franken chickens that are like the Cornish cross chickens. These are the chickens that grow up all kind of deformed at 8 to 10 weeks, and there's these huge birds that can't hardly walk. And we just didn't want to get something like that started on our homestead. So we wanted a good free-ranging chicken that looks like a chicken, acts like a chicken, but that has a good amount of meat on it. And so it seemed like a good choice. And they really are beautiful birds. They're the white ones that you see walking around here. They really, really are beautiful birds, and they're friendly birds. And so it seemed like a good type of bird to start with. Okay, so what has our experience been? This is a review of the Bresse chicken breed and Greenfire Farms where we got them. The first kind of like the downsides of these chickens, I guess I'll start with the negative and then come back with the positives. The first downside is that it's very expensive. Normally you would expect to pay $2 or $3 for a baby day-old chickie. These American Bresses were $30 a piece, so you're looking at a fairly hefty price tag to get into them. So 20 chickens cost us about $600. The next thing that was sort of a downside, and this is a little bit of a ding on Greenfire Farms, they guarantee live delivery of the chickens. I think they give you 24 hours or something like that to notify them if any of the chickens are dead on arrival. Well, when the chickens arrived, my wife was at home, and so she went and got the chickens, and when she opened the box, one of the chickens was dead, and she's kind of one of these nurturing types, so she was really very upset when she found the dead chicken, and she put it in a little box and wrapped it up and didn't know what to do with it, so she went and she threw it in the dumpster. Okay, well, I called Greenfire Farms to tell them that one of our chickens was dead on arrival, and they said, okay, we'll give you a refund, but we got to see a picture of the dead chicken. This is a little bit not real good in my mind because to me, homesteaders are not the type of people that are going to lie and cheat a vendor. That I think that they would be fairly reliable if they said a chicken died, that really don't make us go through that. So I told my wife, well, they want a picture, but don't worry about it, because I didn't want her to have to go deal with the chicken because she was already real upset. Well, she was worried about the $30, so she went and did some dumpster diving, crawled in the dumpster, dug around until she found the box with the chicken in it, brought it out, took a picture of the chicken, then she got all upset again. And so that aspect of our interaction with Greenfire Farms was not real positive. I'll say that yes, we got the chickens, yes, they were nice dealing with. I would just kind of complain about that little aspect of it. So one chicken dead on arrival is pretty normal. That would be considered doing pretty good. That's in no way a problem. The next thing, though, that we found that was not real good is after about 2 weeks, when you first get the chickens, they're kind of all over the place, and you can't really tell what's going on because they're just sort of running. It's hard to even count them. But what we found is after about a week and a half, 2 weeks, we found that 2 of the chickens were not able to walk. And they could just sort of flop around, and they could kind of get to the water dish and kind of get to the food dish, but they could just kind of flop on the ground. And as we looked at them, what we found is that their legs were not connected to their bodies. Their legs were not connected to the bodies in the bone. It was like they didn't have a hip joint and the chickens just sort of had the legs hanging off. And to me, it kind of looked like a congenital defect, like a kind of like a birth defect. It wasn't that they'd been injured or anything. And so those were then, out of the 20 chickens, then we lost 3, and 1 we got our money back on, but the 2, $60 we didn't get. As the chickens grew up, we started looking at their feet. Let me see. And easy, 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 easy. Okay. And what we notice is a lot of their feet are deformed. I don't know if you can see this, but do you see how that toe goes sideways instead of up and down? So this chicken kind of has trouble walking. And as we look, we found that besides the one that was dead on arrival, the two that we had to put down because the legs completely wouldn't let them walk. At least a third of the remaining chickens had some sort of defect, either in their joints or in their feet. Again, feet like that one where the toes go sideways rather than this way. And in fact, our most beautiful rooster, the biggest, most beautiful rooster, had the sideways toes, and we would have loved to have kept him as a breeding rooster, but with with crooked toes, we didn't want to propagate that. And so I don't know what's going on, but it wasn't chicken injury. It was just some sort of bad genes in these chickens, and I don't know if inbreeding them over the years, this is true of all the Bresses, or perhaps when they brought them to the United States, maybe they didn't bring a big enough flock, and therefore there's too much inbreeding in these. But I've never had a breed of chicken where I've had this level of difficulty with the feet and legs, and so that's a little bit of a disappointment. A third of them are deformed. Okay, I will say that we have gotten the first roosters to about the 2.5-month mark, and we did butcher a group of 6 roosters. And I will say that when we butchered them, they really are beautiful meat birds, that they're well proportioned, nice firm full breast, but not these bloated turkey breast looking things like you get in the grocery store. So it was a very nice, elegant, correctly shaped and formed chicken. Very nice drumsticks, very formed meat. I wanted to really see about the flavor of the meat, and so the way I cooked them is I cooked them in a turkey fryer, a deep fryer, and that way, you can stick it, you cook them pretty quickly, and you can stick that thermometer in there and get them to exactly the right temperature, plus you can get that nice crispy skin on it. And I didn't really put any seasoning because what I wanted to do was just kind of taste get the flavor of the meat and get the texture of the meat, and not a lot of other fancy things going on. And so I just basically fried them without seasoning. Now these American Bresses are known as a very firm meat, and what I would say is my experience is there's a fine line between firm and tough, and my reaction to eating the first birds was that they were a little bit on the tough side. Also on the flavor, they tasted good. They didn't have that chemical whang that you get in store-bought chickens a lot of times. So it was a very delicate, it was a very savory flavor in the meat. But I would say that as I ate it, it wasn't like it just jumped out at me of, oh, this is the king of chicken, this is like the best chicken I ever had. I would say it was a good chicken, but I didn't particularly notice it to be outstandingly different than other chickens that I've tried. So kind of like what the bottom line is on these chickens is, first of all, I would say if you're looking at raising chickens, I would not start with these chickens. I would start with something that's really easy to raise, like the Red Star chickens from McMurray Hatchery. Just very easy, no problems at all with those things. I would say that overall, given how much I spent on the chickens, I'm a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for something more spectacular in the flavor and texture. I will say though that I am overall happy with them. I will continue to raise the chickens. I will say that I am overall happy. I gave you my little gripe about Greenfire Farms, but I am overall happy with them. They were fairly easy to work with. I had some special requests as far as the timing of the delivery that they accomplished, and so I would give a thumbs up to Greenfire Farms. Just would recommend that they rethink their dead chicken picture policy. Okay, rethink your dead chicken picture policy. All right, that would be my recommendation for you. Overall, I'm happy with the chickens. I plan on continuing to raise them. What my plan is that they are a pretty pretty good egg producers, and so I'm going to be keeping the hens and use the hens for egg production. And as we get roosters, we will butcher the roosters, just holding back enough roosters to keep raising babies. And so we'll kind of have a combined meat operation and egg operation, and we'll be eating the roosters. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, think about giving us a thumbs up. Think about subscribing to the channel. Also, would love to hear your comments and questions below. I'll be posting some more videos here shortly on some other chicken breeds. We will see you guys later. Paul McWhorter, ExtremePrepper.com.